All right, guys.
Hi, guys. Thanks for being here, first of all. Really, really appreciate everyone coming out.
Mark, the Big 12 signed that deal with Monster. You're a Pepsi school. I know Coke has shares of Monster. Does that change how anything works for you guys, or bringing Monster into the university?
Yeah, well, you have to really, you have to think of this a little bit different than a typical jersey patch in that it is part of the Big 12's patch. It's really their turf, and NCAA said they could do it. So we certainly have talked to Pepsi. They're aware of it, and that's a great partner, and we'll figure it all out. I think it's a really innovative thing that the commissioner's done, and someone was being critical about the deal, and I said on radio, I don't know if it was one of your guys' shows, I just said it's about $1 million more than Utah had yesterday, and that's really important. And traditionalist in me is like, but the reality that the operation that we have to run is revenue is important, and I think this one's pretty harmless and pretty cool.
Has the Crimson brand partners provided any new opportunities for partnerships like this Monster that could potentially lead to jersey patches?
Mind you, they're just getting started, right? July 1 was their first official day. They're building their team, but they're already hunting, and I'm really excited by their progress. Matter of fact, I have a Zoom meeting with him coming up here within the hour. Really impressed with the people they're bringing in. Really impressed with what they're already doing. They were part of the big events at the stadium the last week. They saw a lot of things that we need to work on. That's part of that. We have the concert coming up, and then of course I like to say the big one, the big opener for this season. But I'm thrilled with the team that Matt Webb is putting together, and continue to be very excited.
What were the factors in Utah signing with Adidas, and how do you feel like Adidas is going to benefit the athletic program?
Yeah, I really appreciated the way they approached the opportunity. We met with all the biggies you can imagine during this process, and I love the way they were authentically passionate about being our partner. Their president came down, President of North America, who was dealing with this thing called the World Cup, but he still took time, and he walked through the bookstore, and he saw all these things we can do, and I thought the deal was really good for the youths. I particularly like the innovative approach to NIL, and you can see that on paper and you can hear it from them, but then I went and called other Adidas schools, and they were just effusive in their praise about how it's helping all the athletes. This will involve all our athletes, so I'm excited about it. I'm also excited about having a great final year with Under Armour. They've been great. Kevin Plank's a personal friend. This university really grew with Under Armour, and we've just agreed we're going to have just a really fun year, try to win some more championships together, and we wish them the very best. But we're excited. Next July 1, we'll be with Adidas.
Speaking on that NIL aspect of the Adidas, how much of a benefit is that going to be for every sport? The swim and dives, the cross countries, every program that might not get as much love than football or basketball.
What I love about it is the way John and his team at Adidas, Chris McGuire and all that group talked about was it's as much as that young person wants to put in. So you could be on any one of our teams, you're a registered athlete, you go get product and you put it on your Instagram, and they track the sales from that particular thing. So I talked to Arizona State, talked to others, said, yeah, our kids that really lean into it are having some fun success with it. I thought it was great. I mean, that's kind of what NIL was supposed to be, in a lot of cases is. And then, of course, there's the athletes that maybe can earn more, some of whom are here today, right? And they'll be really leaning them into. I also they're really, really popular in the basketball space. And I think that's something that was really important to me, too. I should have answered that question, too. I really feel like what Adidas is doing for college basketball, they've reinvented a lot of things. I think it's going to really help us in a lot of different ways.
The company and just signing the private equity deal, a lot of the big emphasis was consolidating kind of the athletic department's operations. What are some of the things that you feel like you guys are going to be able to do in that space now that the deal's signed? And just, are you already seeing some positives in that?
Well, Crimson Brand Partners, one of the big piece of it, and I know I've talked about it publicly, but I have to always reinforce it, is it's no longer just athletic assets. Yeah. It's University of Utah assets in a very meticulous, professional way. And so now the pitches are different. Now you're pitching to the big companies, the one that have real money and want to create a really deep relationship. Now get to look around the campus, and yes, they get all the athletic assets if they want them. And so that process is underway. We've already seen some really interesting conversations of interest because we've never been able to offer it that way before, if that makes sense. So, this day and age of big deals really comes down to partnerships. And I give Ryan and his group downtown, they've created these deep relationships, and that's what we're going to create. And I think we're already seeing some early returns. A lot of work ahead, tremendous amount of work ahead. But we're excited about where we already are.
There was a donor piece as part of the deal that was speculated on beforehand. What progress has been done to kind of maybe include donors of the university, whether it's the bigger ones or kind of even mid-tier ones, to
We
invest
still are looking into that. We have not proceeded with that yet. But the thing about this whole situation, I mean, the first thing we can take a step back, right?
Yep.
A company has been created, Crimson Band Partners. It's outside of the university, right? That's where the PE money from Ocho is coming to. It has nothing to do with us, except for the fact they're helping us with all our revenue generation, right? In that company, they will decide if they want donors. The possibility is still there, but I think we want to get everything started first, and then we can proceed. But it has the opportunity to still do that, but we have not done that yet.
You talk about Ryan Smith. Have you had communication with him about like how they built those brand partnerships to help build what you guys are trying to build?
I've been in communication with the Jazz since the moment I got here. I've always been impressed, with their people. Jim Olsen has become a really good friend, and I've and he's a big time Ute, and so I talk to him all the time. I mean, I go down there, I creepy crawl, and see all the things they're doing, and I've been really impressed how they co-brand around the community. Right, it's not just monetary value; it's co-branding together. So that's really, and that's kind of the professional way. And I think you're going to see more of that. If you look at the team when it's all assembled, they're all coming from professional backgrounds at big places, and so I think you'll see more and more of that going forward. But we have great. I mean, they're doing the summer league, and we're all having fun together. As they're renovating. I mean, we're great partners with them. But in this space, we compete, no question.
Mark, there's a lot of talk about the 2014 playoff or whatever expansion looks like. What is the best fit for Utah?
I've come around to 24. I really have. It took me a bit, right? And I think for me, I've got one more year on the CFP committee, and I think being in the room for 2 years and just watching really good teams not make it. I look at this last year. I think you can maybe not. I think I'm accurate when I say that even Utah wouldn't have made the 16 last year because we had 2 G6s get there. And I remember looking at the board. That was kind of a defining moment for me. Like, if there's an expanded tournament, an 11-team, 10 wins at that time, he's got to get in. So I think it's great. I think it also, leads to other things, like you can schedule more aggressively. You can have some more fun with your schedule and not be quite as concerned. So I think it's nothing but positive. We just, the SEC is trying to figure it out. They're trying to integrate into 9 games. What does that do? We'll see where it all goes. But my hope is that we get there.
You announced that you're looking into renovating the Huntsman Center. What went into the decision to explore renovating instead of building a new arena?
Yeah, we just felt like, well, let's take a step back. So we do have 2 companies working on that right now. VCBO is a local Salt Lake architect who's done a lot of design work for us. Baseball stadium, South End Zone, combined with Populous, who's also been great. They've got engineers now going through the building, looking at the bones. I don't know how they do all that stuff, but just trying to see. So far, it looks like it's really, not surprising, incredibly sturdy, and it's unbelievable how that thing is just there. And just like, how they built stuff a long time ago. I mean, it is absolutely like stronger than we already thought. That's a good thing, which even reinforces more the opportunity to try to have some fun on the inside of it. So we're going through that process now. It's fun. The meetings, I think I got a 5-hour one tomorrow. So to figure out what we're going to do, and I'm excited about it. It's a big priority of the president and the board. As you guys know, College Town Magic is going to happen, and it's going to be unbelievable. And we just felt like having it there as the starting point and having some retail in it and all the fun we could have will be. A lot of challenges ahead. A lot of challenges ahead, but it'll be a fun project.
At what point do you start to see design concepts and those get
I'm
out
asking
to
the same
public?
question.
Yeah.
Well, first I got to see them.
Yeah.
Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you get them, right? Was that a shot? Probably. This is my man here. Mad respect. No, I think we'll start. The problem with that stuff is we change it all the time. But I don't know. You guys get it anyway. I might as well just get it to you before someone else does. I think we're going to have a lot of renditions, and I want this project to be fun. You guys know we're getting tremendous response from the survey. Which is, I know, that's what my wife said. And so it's we're getting those that finish it. We're getting a lot of information. So I just think it'd be fun if we could kind of work together on it and go forward, because it really is a community asset.
There's kind of building on that. there's been a lot of concerns specifically from Red Rocks fans about reduced capacity.
Yes.
Are things like that being taken into consideration when it comes to, you know?
Yeah, we got to really think about that. I mean, I've been pretty transparent that you know, post-COVID, and we've had some really good gymnastics teams, we're not seeing the crowds show up as much. The tickets are out, but the click-in, it's kind of like men's basketball. We sell a lot, but we're just having an issue of show up. So we have to be realistic of now what live events are, right? You know, I could argue that a maniacally sold out, you know, would be incredible. I'd like to see the other team on the beam when they're right on top of you and it's 8,000 or 9,000. But that being said, we're definitely looking at that. I mean, there's no reason. I told Carly the fact that we're even having this conversation, think about that program. But she's been real clear, and we've had some really good conversations, and she'll be a part of, you know, what we want to do. I think, but we got to take it into consideration. But I do think that number that we're looking at would be about where we've been in attendance the last couple of years for gymnastics.
There's been a lot of questions just about the Otro deal and the terms of it.
Crimson Brand Partners.
Crimson Brand Partners, and just the stake of Otro that might have in the company and the infusion of cash. Is there any plans to release the terms of that?
Yeah, the board as it comes together, we'll definitely talk about it. I think that what we probably need to do is where we can, we will. Mm-hmm. You know, it is a private company,
right.
And so we have to honor the terms of the deal. But I think that one thing that we really can be transparent about is what are they doing that's going to affect the fans?
Right.
What changes are coming that they're going to be doing. But when it gets into all the dollars and cents, you know, I don't know if we'll completely get there to the satisfaction of all. But what is really important is that the governance, as we said from the very beginning, is absolutely on the side of the University of Utah. You know, I'll chair that board, and you know, we'll make some really good decisions. But we're continuing to figure out what's reasonable to share.
What do you think the biggest impact for fans will be out of this deal?
Well, I think eventually it's just going to be that the customer satisfaction is going to go up. I mean, we're still challenged in the stadium. You know, they're not going to come in here overnight and make the concourses bigger, right? But we can be smarter on some things. We can provide more opportunities. You know, we got the red lights, right? We got the red lights. They're coming. I mean, maybe we got that done before the deal, but let's give them a little props for we'll give them credit for it. We're going to do some work. I think you'll see in the north end zone. I think we're looking at doing some. The north end zone people are going to freak out. Tell them to calm down. It will not block their view, but I think we're going to do some. We're going to do some suites on the field, or some kind of box seating. You know, we saw that around the conference the last few years. So we're going to look at that. But they're going to examine everything from concessions to game, where they're finalizing their hire for their game experience coordinator, who's going to have, I think, a lot of professional experience to run all our games. So I think they'll see that stuff, but not right away. It's going to take. They learned a lot during this last weekend. They're going to learn a lot more when the Post Malone stuff comes up, and then eventually getting ready for our opener.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.